A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. Tensions are brewing between Mexico and the United States as Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum pushes back against President-elect Donald Trump's recent threat to impose a 25% tariff on Mexican goods. The proposed U.S. tariffs, aimed at curbing drug trafficking and illegal migration, have sparked fears of an economic standoff between the neighboring countries. In a firm response on Tuesday, Sheinbaum warned that Mexico could retaliate with tariffs of its own if Trump follows through on his promise. The tariffs would target products imported from Mexico and Canada as part of Trump's efforts to penalize what he described as ridiculous open borders. One tariff would be followed by another in response, and so on until we put at risk common businesses, Sheinbaum said, referencing the integrated supply chains of U.S. automakers operating on both sides of the border. Sheinbaum defended Mexico's efforts to stem the flow of migrants and drugs across the border. She pointed out that large migrant caravans no longer reach the border, and that Mexico has taken steps to combat the flow of drugs like fentanyl, which has been linked to the opioid crisis in the U.S. She also noted that the influx of weapons from the United States into Mexico has complicated the drug problem. The flow of drugs is a public health and consumption issue in your country's society, Sheinbaum said. Shifting the focus back to the U.S., Sheinbaum took aim at the United States defense spending, arguing that resources could be better allocated to address the root causes of migration. If a percentage of what the United States spends on war were dedicated to peace and development, that would address the underlying causes of migration, she said. Experts warn that imposing such steep tariffs could have significant economic repercussions for both nations. The U.S. Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, prohibits unilateral tariffs, and sudden levies could disrupt industries reliant on cross-border supply chains, such as automotive manufacturing. It is unacceptable and would cause inflation and job losses in Mexico and the United States, Sheinbaum stated, echoing concerns from economists. Despite the strong rhetoric, Sheinbaum expressed a willingness to engage in discussions with the U.S. to find a resolution. Dialogue is the best path to achieve understanding, peace, and prosperity for our two countries, she said. Trump's tariffs, which he announced in a series of posts on Truth Social, are part of a broader plan to tackle illegal immigration and drug trafficking. However, data shows that border apprehensions are near 4-year lows, raising questions about the urgency of such measures. If enacted, the tariffs could raise prices on a wide range of goods for American consumers, including cars, food, and fuel. With Mexico as one of the U.S.'s largest trading partners, the economic implications of a trade war could be severe. As both nations brace for what could become a heated economic dispute, Sheinbaum's assertive stance signals a departure from the conciliatory approach taken by Mexico's former president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, during Trump's first term. Whether Trump's tariff threats become reality remains to be seen, but the stakes are high for both sides. Walmart, the nation's largest private employer, is scaling back its diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs, a decision that will. President-elect Donald Trump is ramping up his plans to address illegal immigration and drug trafficking, announcing significant tariffs on Mexico. President-elect Donald Trump is speaking out after Special Counsel Jack Smith moved to dismiss 2 high-profile federal felony cases against Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond has rejected State Superintendent Ryan Walters' attempt to mandate that schools show students a video. Enter your email address to subscribe to this blog and receive notifications of new posts by email. Email address subscribe copyright 2024, Baller Alert Incorporated. All rights reserved. Notifications can be managed in browser preferences. Please refresh the page or navigate to another page on the site to be automatically logged in. Please refresh your browser to be logged in. Canada, Mexico, and China are the U.S.'s 3 largest trade partners. Want to bookmark your favorite articles and stories to read or reference later? Start your independent premium subscription today. Oil, toys, vegetables, and electronics are just some of the items imported to the U.S. from Mexico, Canada, and China that could soon cost Americans more under Donald Trump's proposed tariffs. Trump has announced that Canada and Mexico could soon see a 25% tariff added to all imported goods, while China could face an additional 10%. Something Trump says is part of an effort to curtail crime and drugs coming into the U.S. and slow the number of illegal border crossings. Though tariffs are designed to promote domestic production and purchasing by taxing imported goods, the increase in cost typically falls on consumers, not foreign governments. Numerous economic experts have warned that Trump's tariffs on goods from those three countries could lead to price spikes and inflation, a concern shared by many voters who said they backed Trump. The U.S. imports a host of goods from Canada, Mexico, and China directly, as well as supplies for products made in America. Here's what resources, materials, or products come from those countries. Canada is the largest supplier of crude oil to the U.S. with more than 3.8 million barrels per day, or 60% of U.S. crude oil imports, coming from its northern neighbor. Although the U.S. produces large quantities of crude oil every day, it makes more economic sense to import it. Crude oil produced in the U.S. is considered light compared to the heavy oil produced in Canada and the Middle East. This means the U.S. relies on imports for heavy oil. Importing from Canada, which is close by and doesn't require as much transportation as other countries such as those in the Middle East, makes it more accessible. Gasoline is made from crude oil, and price spikes in oil can lead to more pain at the pump. A 25% tariff on Canadian oil would have huge impacts to gas prices in the Great Lakes, Midwest, and Rockies, which are major markets where refiners process Canadian oil. You can't simply process different oil overnight. It would take investment/years. More U.S. supply wouldn't help, warned gas price expert Patrick DeHaan on X. DeHaan, an industry leader with GasBuddy.com, further warned that oil refineries in the U.S. have shrunken over the last 4 years, making it harder for the U.S. to increase its production in gasoline. Total impact to gas prices in these areas could be 25-75 cents/gal, dependent on season and refining factors as well if tariffs go through, DeHaan added. Mexico is the largest exporter of vehicles, vehicle parts, and vehicle accessories to the U.S. than any other country, making up 27% of all imports from Mexico. Importing auto parts abroad and then assembling them in the U.S. is a cheaper alternative than manufacturing and assembling domestically. Tariffs would increase the cost of most cars, though it's not clear how much. Patrick Anderson, chief executive of Anderson Economic Group, a consulting firm in Michigan, told the New York Times, "There is probably not a single assembly plant in Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, and Texas that would not immediately be affected by a 25% tariff. Tariffs would spell disaster for the U.S. auto industry," analysts at Bernstein said in a note to investors, according to the Times. But, they added, they doubt Trump will follow through. Given the wide-ranging negative implications for industrial production in the U.S., we expect this is unlikely to happen in practice, the Bernstein analyst said. More than a quarter of U.S. imports from China fall under the electronic equipment, machinery, and products category. These include items such as television sets, smartphones, monitors, projects, and more. All of them could see price increases if tariffs are imposed and passed on to consumers. Mexico, too, is also a major producer of electronics, not only in the U.S. but across the globe. Mexico has over 730 plants manufacturing audio and video, telecommunications, computer equipment, and notifications can be managed in browser preferences. Please refresh the page or navigate to another page on the site to be automatically logged in. Please refresh your browser to be logged in. President-elect Donald Trump has threatened to impose huge tariffs on Mexico. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.